Jugad, creativity. I want to be a Jugadu right here.
Exactly.
Proud Jugadu.
Exactly. I got to know very recently that you are the coach of the Indian women's hockey team.
Literally my last stop on my India tour. Yeah. Have idli with coconut chutney and some dosa and some nice hot filtered coffee.
Oh my God. Oh, there's a lot of similarities between Japan and India, which immediately I think you just gel in.
Well, why are you asking that question?
How different can a personal transformation, a personal growth, and an organizational transformation or organizational growth can be overnight?
It's about doing the right things consistently over a period of time with discipline and commitment, and over time you transform. It's that 1 degree of improvement every single day.
Most asked question to you from aspiring leaders as a leadership coach?
You need to write a book. I'm not a writer.
Interesting. So what are the 5 E's and what is your favorite E?
Or I could go straight to the heart. I mean, I made a conscious decision that I was going to focus on the heart first.
So what is your mantra? Show by Naghma. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Next Show by Naghma. And today with me I have a leadership coach who I'm hoping that I learned something as well today while we are in this conversation. The mind behind the E05 movement and the author of the Rule of 5, Paul Dupuis. And Paul, welcome to The Next Show.
Great to be in the nest with you here, Naghma. Thank you.
Welcome to our nest. And okay, let's start with learning how to pronounce your name, because I was always reading this D-U-P-U-I-S, Paul Dupuis. Dupuis. I think that was how I was reading it.
Just the way it's written, right? Yeah,
exactly. Now teach us how to pronounce your name.
Okay. Well, maybe we can look at the Hindi version. Is it pretty close? The Hindi version?
Yeah, that's also possible.
It's Paul Dupuis. Dupuis. It's a French-Canadian name, quite specific to Canada, actually.
Yeah.
You know, the immigrants from France who went over to Canada in the old days, the settlers. So that was kind of a common name. So it's Dupuis.
Interesting. So now that you do a lot of work in India, Africa, and you live in Japan, out of 100, how many people actually get your name right? Oh,
well, the good news is that in Japan, as you know, because a little known secret, by the way, everybody, she lived in Japan. And in Japanese, you can actually write it in a way that you can actually sound it out, Dupuis. Dupuis. Whereas in India, no, I usually get various pronunciations. I must say, I've had MCs introduce me at events here in India, even just yesterday. There's always the S at the end, Dupuis or Dupus or so on. But it's not only India, in Canada too, people get it wrong. So, hey.
Oh, we are better. If in Canada people can get it wrong,
that's right,
we are perfectly fine. So for today, I knew once you come in, I can always ask you about it directly. But yesterday, I was recording a reel talking about your book. I haven't posted it yet.
Oh, wow.
But before I made the reel, I wanted to ensure that I'm not pronouncing the name wrong. I opened my ChatGPT. I typed in the name and I'm like literally recording my voice saying, ChatGPT, please help me pronounce this name correctly.
Did ChatGPT say to you, hang on a second, Naghma, I'm busy talking to Paul Dupuis right now. Just wait, be on hold. Because probably ChatGPT was talking to me at that point.
No, my ChatGPT
asking me how to pronounce your name.
My ChatGPT helped me out. But then I was not satisfied. Then I again went back to Google. I typed it out and it's like, okay, give me the phonetics. So I love reading through phonetics. And I got the phonetics back and I'm like, okay, we, how long should I pronounce it? I was doing all of that yesterday, but yeah, thank you so much. So yes, back to the Rule of 5, a book that is doing amazingly well in India. And you just been having a very busy week in India, traveling across different cities, talking about your book, doing sessions, signings, and even meeting 8-year-old readers for that matter. How has this experience been, this time's trip to India?
It's amazing. First of all, you're catching me at the tail end, the very end of an action-packed week here in incredible India. So I started off actually here in Delhi, visiting bookstores to celebrate the release of the Hindi version of my book, but of course to also promote the English version. And you know, since I wrote the book when I was living in India, it continues to do well. It's attracted attention from everyone from a young aspiring leader, wannabe future leader, to seasoned veteran leaders.
Yeah.
Some MBA schools are using it, although I don't think it's a textbook, but they're using it.
It's not a textbook.
No, and that was my
very good
intention, was not to be a textbook, but there are learnings, I think, in it. And then, I was in Mumbai, and you know what I discovered along the way this week, visiting bookstores in Delhi, Mumbai, Indore, and so on, and Gurgaon. There are some amazing bookstores out there in India with history and with flavor.
Yeah.
Something special about these places, more than just a place that houses books.
Yeah.
You know, there's community there.
Very
if
much.
the walls could talk in some of these bookstores,
Yep.
especially old ones. You know, I went to one, 1930 it was founded. 1940, you think about the generations that have come through that bookstore. So anyway, I really enjoyed that, and sitting with the local folks and having a chat, having some chai, signing some books, debating on various topics like Jugad, good or bad. We can talk about that.
We will talk about it. That question is definitely coming up. Yes.
And so on. It's been a wonderful trip. And I also spent some time with young aspiring leaders in education. So I spoke at an MBA school in Mumbai, SDA Bocconi, which is an Italian MBA program, one of the top in the world.
Yeah.
And I met with 200 students and did a seminar there with them. Wonderful energy. I spoke at CII's annual leadership conclave in Indore for MP.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was a wonderful experience as well. And so I've signed a lot of books, met a lot of people, had a lot of great conversations, ate some good Indian food along the way.
Of course.
And soon I go back to Japan.
When do you head back?
I actually head back tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So this is
literally
my last stop on my India tour. Yeah.
Now, talking about eating a lot of good Indian food, what's your favorite Indian food?
So, I'm a bit biased, like you, being a South Indian. You can't tell by looking at me, but I am, having lived in Bangalore for 4 years. If you ask me if I would have one meal, I would go to the MTR in Bangalore.
Oh my God.
And I would have idli with coconut chutney and some dosa and some nice hot filtered coffee.
Oh my God. Oh, this is super. Okay, now I'm going to promote your book for me. This is good enough for me. Oh, that is interesting. That's really nice. And how different has your life been? Because you came into Japan as a backpacker.
Yeah.
You just traveled the world. You were just moving around. And then you decided to put up your roots there, and you've been there for like almost 30 plus years.
Yeah.
How has your life journey been?
Well, I look back 35 years ago.
Yeah.
I left Canada, kind of a smaller city in Canada where generally people stay. I mean, it's not, it's a wonderful town, by the way, Windsor, Ontario.
Yeah.
But something inside me when I was 22 years old, there was that fire or flame, I guess, of curiosity.
Yeah.
I was always interested in peeking around the corner. What's there? I want to go take a look. And I was quite into the martial arts growing up. I was into karate and kung fu, and I wanted to go to Japan to do the real thing.
Oh,
so
wow.
I got on a plane, I saved my money, and didn't have much. In fact, I had 15,000 rupees to my name.
Oh, wow.
Because I bought the plane ticket and so on, and my backpack. So I went to Osaka in 1990. Planned to stay 6 months, and here we are. Now, I've been
35 years later.
I've been in and there's a lot of twists and turns along the way, but I've been in and out of Japan. This is my 4th time living in Japan.
Good. Amazing. And which part of Japan have you been always?
Well, I started in Osaka, so I was there a total of about 18 years, in and out. And then
so you're a fan of takoyaki?
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. Osaka is an interesting town for those who are watching who, look at Japan as being one kind of homogeneous place.
Yes.
As you know, it's not. Yeah. Japan is a lot of small cultures mixed in, kind of like India in some ways.
It is.
The Osaka culture is a little bit leaning more towards Indian.
Yeah.
A little more Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
They love their food.
Yeah.
They love their culture and sports and they express their mind, their passion in. Anyway, I live there, so that's my kind of my core. I speak the local dialect.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Oh God, that's one dialect I'll never get used to.
Yeah, I sometimes turn it off, but I can turn it on real quick because that's my natural Japanese. And then I've lived in Tokyo now, I guess, a total of about 8 years. So again, with stints in Singapore and India and so on.
Interesting. So today, I think in India, especially Japan is a lot popular because a lot of Japanese translation books that got popular very recently.
Yeah,
and these
yeah.
are all the very good comfort reads where we have the different streets in Japan, which talks about the multiple old bookstores in a single lane, one after the other. And so people are a little more curious about Japan and India now. So is there something about Japan that you think, now that you've lived in India also, that a lot of us may actually like and become more curious?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, first of all, by the way, there's a huge Indian population in Japan.
True.
India and Japan have had a great relationship for a long time, going way back in history. There are 3-4 generations of Indian families that have settled in Japan, especially in places like Yokohama and Kobe, the original traders, for example, spices and textiles and so on. So actually the Indian community in Japan is quite strong. If we fast forward to today, more recently, you see a lot of Indian tourists coming in. And what do they look for? Well, again, they love the food in Japan, whether you're a vegetarian or not. There's lots of options. They also really love the nature, the pristine forests and mountains. And so on. And, you know, the shrines, the Shinto shrines and the Buddhist temples and so on are located all over the country in beautiful
serene locations.
Yeah, so I find that a lot of Indians, they come for the big city, but they realize that in India there's big city everywhere. So often they come into Tokyo and say, we're only staying one night and we're going off into the countryside. So
yes, of course.
people really, I would say Indians really connect. And also there's a gentleness about Japan, and I think a gentleness about Indians that matches really well.
I think cultural or I don't know if I can call it like spiritual wise. It's not exactly spiritual wise, but a little more soulful than cultural. There's a lot of similarities between Japan and India, which immediately I think you just gel in.
That's a nice way to say it.
Our traditional, like our eating habits, a lot of things. I'm not talking about the food taste, but the way we build things up together from our family customs that we build in. A lot of things are familiar. It's
so
similar.
true. Culture is interesting. I mean, maybe the why is same, and you know, even the what and so on, but the how could be different. The expressiveness is a bit different, but it's essentially the same, isn't it?
Now, talking about why you talked about the why, I think I'm going to step into the book a little bit. You were stressing about the why, the importance of why, and interestingly, just I think a week or two ago, was listening to the podcast by Simon Sinek. So that's the master who taught us how to ask the question of why. So it was very interesting for me when I came across your book also, the importance of asking why. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Sure. Well, why are you asking that question?
Because I want to know more. Why are you asking that back to me?
This is a lesson, by the way.
Exactly.
For all the aspiring leaders out there and the seasoned leaders will know this, that whenever anyone asks you a difficult question, the best way to answer it is, what do you think? Or why do you think that, right? So bounce a question back with a better question. So, well, first of all, this is something that took me a long time to figure out as a leader. You know, we are, and I'd say we, leaders in general, are raised in kind of an environment where we got to get to the what and the how much and the when right away. We got to get to the results, get to output. And in business terms,
expected out of us.
KPIs, deliverables, you know, productivity, efficiency, etc., right? Activities. And what I came to discover over time is actually all of that is really representing the output. It begins with purpose. And if you really want to motivate someone, talk about the why. I've never been motivated when my boss would talk to me about KPIs. You know, how many phone calls will you make today, or how, you know, whatever it is, the activities that you measure. But when we talked about the why and the purpose, why we exist as an organization, how what we do will change the world. Whether it's impacting our customers or, you know, each other, the world, society. That's what gets people up in the morning, especially on those rainy days when, you know, you're not feeling so motivated or energetic. And so to Simon Sinek's point, you know, starting with why, start every day with why, with your purpose, whether you're a leader or not. And I think this is true in your professional and your personal life.
Interesting. Now, just because I talked about one amazing coach, another person who's literally there on the front cover of your book. You have Marshall Goldsmith giving a foreword on your book. You guys are friends?
Well, there's an evolution. We are friends now. Absolutely, we are very good friends. But there's an evolution, and isn't it interesting? All roads tend to lead back to India for me on these game-changing things. First of all, so Marshall and I met virtually during COVID. During the tough times of COVID, when India was essentially in lockdown, and I was in Bangor, and I was leading a large organization. I had 70,000 people across the four corners of India, but I was stuck at home, and that's really tough for a leader to kind of not be able to go out and be with the teams and so on. And right around that time, I got called by a friend who was working with Marshall on leadership development and so on. And Marshall was also a bit frustrated. He's a real active guy, loves to get out and be with people. But we couldn't get on airplanes at that time. And the idea was that we would have a mastermind course, quite an exclusive mastermind course with Marshall. It was going to be 6 CEOs in India doing it virtually with Marshall over a period of 3 months. We would meet on Saturday mornings, India time, for a couple hours, and it'd be a kind of a group coaching type of thing. And then following that would be one-to-one sessions with Marshall. And that would be the course, the mastermind course. Well, I jumped at it. This was an opportunity to spend time with the man. But also good for leaders in times of crisis. Always good to be around other leaders and to share ideas and concerns and ask for advice. So we went right into it, and of course, it was wonderful. Marshall's, I call him Uncle Marshall. He can be very tough, but he's also super warm. And he really helps you kind of grow and discover. So we did that, and then he and I really connected. We did the one-on-one sessions, and then from there we continued to chat about various things and brainstorm. And then he was also one of the ones that really kind of gave me that nudge to write a book. And so went ahead and did it. And then when it came to publish, he was very supportive. He offered the quote for the front cover. We had a release event, a live release event, where he joined as well. And since then, we've collaborated on some things. We did a video series together. I visited him at his home in Nashville last summer. So become good buddies.
Oh, that's really interesting. So I'm sure there's like a journey during COVID, like during the tough times. It would have been very transformational.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And touching upon that, I just wanted to check your thought processes on how different can a personal transformation, a personal growth, and an organizational transformation or organizational growth can be? Or does it have to be same?
Well, I think they're parallel. I think they're parallel. If you're leading something around transformation, whether you're leading people or you're leading a project, it doesn't really matter. The transformation of what you're leading needs to actually be connected to your own personal transformation. So that helps it accelerate when you're kind of transforming together. But let me just put a little bit of a disclaimer here. Now, this word transformation, I think, is a little bit overused recently. And transformation implies for some people that it's a sudden thing. And transformation does not happen suddenly. It's not about dropping a huge rock in the pond and then the world has changed. I kind of look at it similarly to, let's say you wanted to get in shape. You wanted to lose some weight. You wanted to, kind of transform yourself. That doesn't happen overnight. It's about doing the right things consistently over a period of time with discipline and commitment. And over time, you transform. It's the same thing with business, certainly in an organization. So personal transformation, professional transformation, very, very similar. Come back to what I said earlier. It's about doing the right things and doing it steadily, repeatedly, with discipline and commitment. And over time, you get there. In Japan, it's called Kaizen. Kaizen is really about continuous improvement, right? It's that 1 degree of improvement every single day. And it can be painfully slow. But imagine that over a period of time, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. That cumulative change is remarkable, and it leads to transformation.
Is it same, like when you come to the integral part of all these human emotions, transformations, our feelings, our learnings, is it same across all nationalities?
Oh, I think so. I think there are some things that are universal. I think the understanding, though, may be different in different. But now, well, let's talk about also the situation in a culture and in a demographic like India. Young population getting younger. Why? Because growing. Okay, so now you know you have a young population that's eager, hungry, probably a bit impatient. So
very much.
Right? And in India, that means change has to happen quick. Let's go now. In a culture like Japan, which is older, average age is around 46, population is decreasing. This is a country that really has gone through quite a transformation after World War II, and I would say is really kind of leveled out, developed. The pace of change is much slower. But the process is quite similar. You know, the goal is really to get better, to find that next opportunity and so on. So I think, you know, the destination is very similar. Sort of like the way you get there depends partly on the culture. And I absolutely think there's a connection to the average age in a particular place, whether it's a company. And I say this with all respect to the more mature folks out there, maybe from my generation, the late 50s heading towards 60 folks out there. You can be young-minded. Your age is a different story. But it's also easy to get conservative and shift into slow-moving pace of change. So transformation is not so much about age. I think it's also about your mindset and your appetite.
Interesting. So what's that? The most asked question to you from aspiring leaders as a leadership coach? What is the most asked question?
Oh, there's a couple, but I'll give you two.
Okay.
One is from the younger folks. I'm talking about the Gen Zs or even the ones coming up now. And Paul, how can I become a CEO?
Oh, direct.
Wow. Now, if there was a recipe, if I could write, okay, just a pinch of this and a pinch of that and a do of this and then put it in here and mix it up, boom, you'd be a CEO. I could bottle that and sell it all over the world, but it doesn't exist.
Next bestseller.
Yeah, the next bestseller. The magic potion. Drink this and you'll become a CEO. No, the reality is that I get that question a lot. I love it because it shows ambition. But also got to remind yourself, be careful what you ask for. Being a CEO comes with perks and comes with some pretty big, heavy responsibilities and challenges. Having said that, the answer to that question is very simple for me. You ready?
Yeah.
Stop thinking about becoming a CEO.
I agree. Completely agree.
And if I look at my own journey, I was never my aim to be a CEO of a billion-dollar company. I was a backpacker arriving in Japan as a young guy, and I ended up there. But it was really about mission, being mission-centric. I think all of us have a mission in our life at one point. Right now, today, if you kind of think about it, you have a mission. I have a mission. Focus on your mission that's in front of you, whatever it is, and be the best you can be. Be 100% in that moment. And when you do that with good values, and you build relationships along the way, the universe provides the next opportunity. I've seen it again and again. So I think that's the first one, how to become a CEO. That's my advice. The next one is, and I get this question a lot in India, I get it in Japan. What's the difference between leading in Japan and leading in India? I get that question a lot.
Okay.
And the perception or the assumption in that question is that it's very different. Well, I can tell you, actually, no. I had an aha moment. And I realized it's the opposite. There is universality of effective leadership.
Okay.
I would say to you that great leaders, whether they're in India or Japan or Canada or Mexico or Poland, doesn't matter, they will be effective wherever they go. Because some things about leadership are universal. Let me ask you a few questions. Okay, first of all, Naghma, would you follow a leader who supports you in good times and bad?
I would.
You would, right?
Yeah.
If I go around the world, any country, I ask that same question, you're going to get a resounding yes. Okay. Would you follow a leader who's transparent, who's honest?
Definitely.
Wow, I'll go over the world and ask the same. I could come up with 20 questions. Okay? That's the important stuff. Now, when you go through that leader that you would follow, that's universal. Now, there is an element of culture. I'll call it the 90-10 rule. 90% is universal. 10% is local culture. That's where it gets interesting. And understanding the local culture where you lead.
Interesting. So where does, amongst all of this wisdom and learning and experience and effective working, the E5 movement comes into place?
So I was in the middle of leading a dramatic, somewhat messy transformation in India.
Interesting.
Large organization. I was sent over by the global head office. This was what we call a sinking ship.
Yeah.
And in business terms, running a loss.
Yeah.
When you're in the red, you're losing money, not good.
Yeah.
And more important than that, although that was a symptom of the bigger issue, was we had very low employee engagement, lowest in the world. We had very high attrition, highest in the world. The ship was shaking. This was a team or a business on the verge of sinking. Yeah. So I was sent to turn it around. Oh. Not an easy task. And there's no textbook on how to do this, by the way.
Nothing.
And I had never been to India before. So I parachuted in. Here comes the Canadian to fix the, come on.
Yeah.
That, one person cannot fix something themselves. There's no, I've never seen it, right? Yeah. And I think any leader will tell you that it takes a movement. It takes an army, a coalition, supporters, promoters that make it happen. So I was in the midst of that, and then the company sent me to London Business School on an amazing program. Talk about great timing. The name of the program was Transformational Leadership.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So again, the stars were in the right place.
Yeah,
I was sent to
aligned.
London. Yeah. I got out of the pressure cooker of India from time to time, a week at a time, which was great because I could kind of decompress and breathe. Yeah. And we dug into transformational leadership. In this program, they assign you a coach. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of coaching. I've seen and felt the power of coaching. Yeah. It can be transformational.
It can be.
And my coach, at one point, we were sitting having a chat, and he said, Paul, he asked me a question. I encourage everybody who's listening to ask this question yourself. He said, Paul, what is great leadership? Big question, eh? Yeah. I'm sure you're already thinking, what is it?
I am.
And you go, a great leadership is, and you list it. So I had lots of ideas on this because as a leader, we're always defining it. So I shared my ideas. And in the middle, as I was talking, he said, stop. You need to write a book.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought, wow. My first reaction was, I'm not a writer. Isn't it interesting how we default to say, I am not a whatever it is.
Like, I don't think I have the patience to write a book.
Yeah, well, I've never written a book. That's interesting. Maybe I should think about it. Instead, it was, I'm not a writer. Well, fast forward, I wrote the book, but it wasn't overnight. But anyway, that suggestion, the power of suggestion is wonderful. That was the first time. Yeah. And then, of course, I came into this mastermind with Marshall, come back full circle. And in one of our sessions, he said, hey, Paul, you should write a book.
Oh, wow.
And so the book started to take life in my head. And I thought, if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book about a topic I'm passionate about, and that is leadership. Yeah. And leaders who really create movements, who change the game. Yeah. And that's where it was born. That's where the book kind of started. Yeah. Now, writing it is a different story. It sounds easy, but as we know, it's bringing it to life is another story.
Yeah. So how did you apply? So is it with that Indian company that you kind of formulated the framework and you also applied your concepts?
Yeah, so I had this in my head already. Just to quote Isaac Newton, he said, we see further when we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In other words, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Let's learn from those who have walked before us and build off of that. Stand on their shoulders, right? With respect. And so, for example, if you were to walk in a bookstore right now, anywhere in the world, here in India, of course, there's a nice section of business and management and leadership. Yeah. And what you see is a lot of models. And I can tell you that every single model has been built on the back of another model.
Of course.
If you go back to the days of Aristotle, they were talking about leadership models. So if we talk about fast forward to Jack Welch's, his 3 C's or his ABC player, and there's so many different models that are out there. Essentially, they all are born from something. And so I came up with my own personal version of what I think effective leadership is, built on the back of other models. I borrowed from Good to Great, Jim Collins, Level 5 Leadership. I borrowed from Jack Welch's model, Bob McDonald from P&G, who also had his version of 5 E's, which started as actually 3 E's and evolved. So I came up with a model which I would say is kind of a mixture of the models that I like, and then I put my own touch on it. And that's the E5.
Interesting. So what are the 5 E's and what is your favorite E?
Sure. Well, first of all, the 5 E's are like this. The first E is envision. Envision. If I look at the great leaders that I've observed, worked with, and not only personally, but if you then observe leaders across history and genres, not just business, by the way. This book is not only about business, it's about leadership.
Yeah.
So we can talk, I talk about Mahatma Gandhi in the book. I talk about the Beatles, JFK, and so on. There's so many examples. The women's soccer team who won the World Cup in 2011 after the tragedy of the earthquake and the tsunami. There's so many examples of leadership that I talk about. And it always begins with vision. Envision is about why. Not what, not how much, not how many, when. It's about why, purpose. So vision starts with the heart, not the mind. And a lot of leaders struggle with this.
They do,
We default to we're going to be the biggest, the most successful, the most profitable, whatever it is, most well-known. No, it's about why. What's the purpose? Why do you exist? So envision should touch the heart first, the mind next. Next, okay, you've got a vision, you crafted it. Now it's time to go out to the world and tell people about it. That's the second E, express. I mean, kind of what you're doing with The Nest here, right? You're telling the world you're sharing stories. And when you start to express it, you also realize the need in our current world to leverage the omni-channel. Lessons from e-commerce. Touch people in different ways. Okay. All right, now you're expressing it in a way that touches the hearts and minds. What happens? People lean in, they want to be part of it. Excite, the third E. They're excited. They raise their hand. They say, hey, I've got an idea. Can I be part of this? This is a wonderful moment for every leader. It's a moment of truth.
Exactly.
Leaders love it when teams are excited. And then the leader shifts into the fourth E, enable. And enabling leadership, in my mind, is a mixture of empowerment and, of course, empathy and so on. But it really is about creating an environment, a space where everyone can shine. If we talk about ED&I, it's about creating a space where everyone can be the best true version of themselves. And when you do that, people feel good. They have a voice. And when people are feeling good and they have a voice, they're motivated. And when they're motivated, they shine.
Magic happens.
They change the game. Okay? They go the extra mile. And then finally, the fifth E, this will be the measurement of true leadership, I think until the end of time. Execute. Bringing that compelling vision to life for measurable impact. That's the 5 E's. And the image on the book is the wheels, and they're actually 5 wheels interlocked, right? And the idea is that they don't stand alone. They all kind of are connected and they move each other. And you move from wheel to wheel as a leader. And each of these, I would say, are like muscles that can be built. So that's it. And I applied this in my real life kind of experience as a CEO.
Which is your favorite stage?
Let me turn it around. The toughest one for me, actually, was enable.
I wanted to deep dive into enable, to be honest. Because it's one place I didn't understand. It went a little bit over my head because I think in my head, enabling is a negative term.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I challenged it. I wanted to challenge the status quo on that word. Somehow the word enabler has taken on a very negative term, right? Isn't it interesting how language and culture kind of work? I mean, the dictionary definition of enabler is not a negative definition. It's actually quite positive. It's someone who helps someone do something or become something. But somehow we've taken
extremely negative. Don't be an enabler. You're enabling this person. Don't do that. You're not letting them person grow. I'm like, okay. So when I saw it in the book, I was like, for a moment, okay, or maybe I'll understand it when I go into the chapter. But I went through the chapter. Still after that, I think I was a little unclear about that just one part.
So if I may, I'm challenging your bias.
Okay.
You came into that chapter with a bias that the word enabler meant something different, right? And that's one of the things we have as leaders as well. We need to be careful. So park the bias for a moment and think about what an enabling leader can do. An enabling leader can either enable a positive environment or a negative environment. It can be either one. It's a choice a leader makes. Similar to maybe that definition you were just having of the enabler. You can be an enabler who actually helps someone do something positive. Rather than the negative version of
but then why does it have a negativity around it?
Well, there's probably some history in there somewhere in many of the books that have been written about the topic somehow it came. No, I think it's just a cultural thing. We connected it with addiction and behaviors and so on, right? you can absolutely enable in a positive way. And so the enabling leader is someone who comes in every day, virtually or physically, in this new world of work, and says, today I'm going to focus on helping these people or this person get over barriers, overcome challenges, have more self-confidence, ultimately shine, be the best version of themselves. I'm going to enable them to discover, to learn, to grow, to succeed.
Interesting.
So let's redefine the word. And by the way, the game-changing leaders I've been around, they always challenge the status quo, including
definitely.
the assumptions on language like that. It's funny you bring it up because a lot of people ask me about that.
I mean, definitely.
I'm an enabling leader, and I'm proud of it.
I think, from the meaning sense of it, and from a verb sense of it as an action, I think enabling is an amazing thing to do. You're supporting somebody. You're letting somebody else grow. I mean, if you want to say it proudly, I can say I'm letting somebody grow on my watch in a very good way. Why is that term negative? I mean, that's very confusing.
So let's question the status quo. I would challenge any leader to shift their thinking from telling to teaching to enabling. So I have a choice as an enabler. As if you're an enabling leader, you have a choice. Let's say there's a hammer on the table. You have a choice. You can pick up the hammer and use it to build whatever you're building, or you can teach your team members how to use the hammer. Or you can take it one step further. You can let them figure it out on their own. That is also enabling leadership. And here's an interesting discovery as well. And this was tough for me again, because I'm the guy who wants to pick up the hammer and say, okay, come, I'm a pace setter, follow me, like many leaders. We all grew up in that world. It's very tough for me to not pick up that hammer and to not only that, let them figure it out themselves. Anybody who's a parent knows what I mean. Okay, it's real tough. But you know, it's so fulfilling to see people learn and grow, and even when they teach themselves. So one discovery I had that was a bit shocking. Enabling leadership sometimes means being there, supporting, removing barriers, teaching, and so on and so on. It also sometimes means not being there. You can actually enable people to grow sometimes by giving them space.
True.
Freedom to move, freedom to experiment. Nobody likes a micromanager.
Nobody.
That's a disabling. That's a disabling leader, right? So the enabling leader is really somebody who gives the space. So knowing when to give space, that was always a challenge for me.
Interesting. So I think in my last 10 years of work experience, the people who I still look up to as my mentors, or people who I still go back to when I'm making a very professional, important decision, I think are people who gave me the space. Who I still very proudly say, I love working with this person because this person lets me do and lets me make mistakes, making sure that I don't repeat the mistake. And I think these are the people that I really look up to. But for me, like you said, if I have a team, and to step back and do that, I try to, but that's the most difficult thing to do, to give that other person the space.
Especially when you see them about to fall down.
The
instinct is to reach and help, right?
True.
But truly enabling people is to give them the space. So that's my definition of enabling leadership. Remove barriers.
Interesting.
Remove barriers, help people grow, create a space where they can shine, and again, be the best true version of themselves.
Interesting.
Let them leverage their strengths. Let them taste the joy of success, of achieving.
So, how much, or what could be the proportion of your head and your heart?
Well, you're talking to the, I'm going to say this with no shame, the more mature version of Paul. And I think most leaders would agree with me. You go through a journey. The leader you are when you're, say, a first-time leader in your 20s, maybe team leader or whatever it is, to then when you get to a certain age where you're maybe a senior leader leading leaders, you evolve. You should evolve. And I've certainly evolved. I was much more headstrong, logical, metrics, numbers, probably quite a micromanager in the early days coming up. And I think I hit a stage where I started to realize that, well, the EQ, we talk about, emotional quotient and empathy and so on, started to become more on my mind. I started to see the power of actually connecting with people, away from the mind and more the heart, because when you build relationships, you tend to have more progress. You tend to move forward together.
Okay.
And so that took time. So if you ask me now, and even most recently CEO leading a large organization, I probably was wavering between kind of 50 to 60% logical mind and 40 to 50% emotional heart.
Okay.
But I would tell you one thing, I started every conversation with emotion and heart and then worked my way towards the logic. And that really was a revelation for me. Leaders need to be engaged. They need to be connecting with people, human first, and then move into the logical stuff. So, I recall when I set out on the mission, I came to India to lead the turnaround of this struggling operation. Now, this is an organization that had never achieved budget. Let's talk business for a moment. Achieving budget. In my mind, budget is a promise. That's not something you aim for. That's a promise. Targets are the stretch and so on, right? So let's say this is an organization that's never achieved budget. So it's underperforming, right? That would tell you that probably the confidence level is not very good. Now, I had a choice when I arrived as a leader. I could focus on the numbers,
of course.
the logic.
Yeah.
I could go straight into numbers to say, how are we going to get these numbers up? Or I could go straight to the heart. And I made a conscious decision that I was going to focus on the heart first. I was going to focus on purpose. And instead of starting every business review with the numbers, I moved the numbers to the end of the meeting. And it was interesting because I arrived in India and every meeting started with a spreadsheet on the screen. And I said, hang on, move that to the end of the meeting. And people were quite, puzzled. What do you mean? Well, this is why we're here. No, we're here to talk about people. We're here to talk about purpose. And then we'll get to the numbers later. Because in my mind, taking a page out of Good to Great, you get the right people on your bus.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in the right seat.
Favorite thing.
Then make sure leaders are enabling them and creating a culture where everyone can shine. And guess what happens? The results follow.
True.
So that was my hypothesis. And I approached it that way. And the proof was in the pudding. We ended up building a great culture, which then great results followed. And we did that. So I definitely shift the scales at one point from being very logical to a bit more, I don't know if it's emotional, but maybe a little bit more purpose-centric. And I'm a big believer that you need to have that balance.
True. Interesting. So I started off my career with decathlon.
Oh.
And I still say that was my best choice because the kind of leadership we had there, the kind of enabling we had there, the kind of open. So we believed in the values that the company is spoken for. It was literally like you have the freedom to do anything, but use freedom responsibly. And I think it was someone there itself who encouraged me, one of my mentors or coaches. In between, I think in my 4.5 years in decathlon, we had shifted from leadership to coaches. So we were trained how to be a coach and not a leader. So we had all this internal training going on. One of my mentors recommended, definitely told me, you have to read Good to Great.
Wonderful.
That book, I think, changed my life.
Wonderful.
I think to everybody, even today, irrespective of which stage of your life you are in. You could even be just a fresher out of college. The way you take the information might be different, but you will go back to those concepts 10 years down the line. And I still, just now when you told about getting into that bus, it just gave me that flash.
It's a treasure chest, isn't it?
Interesting.
And similar to the way you read with all your Post-it notes in your book, I have a copy of Good to Great. I've had it for 15 years. And by the way, when I came to India to lead the turnaround, the first book that I bought for all of my leaders was Good to Great.
Oh my God.
And we created a book club.
Most passed around book in our company. We had like almost most of us. So we are a retail store, right? Most of our retail stores had this book.
Wonderful.
Because the CEO at that moment, he started, the country leader, he recommended that book. The leaders below him, who was like according to the hierarchy, they read it. They recommended it to their team. They read it, they recommended it to their team. I have no idea how, within that company, we would have sold some 1,000 copies of that book. I mean, it was great, but that was the biggest, I think, leadership lessons that I had. And to me, it came at the right stage of my life where I was just, I think, 6 months into the company, but I took up leadership roles early in my career itself. So it could be 5 people, or small teams, managing small departments, but that book helped.
Oh, wonderful. It
The
really is.
concepts
I would say I can see your passion for the book I share. It's
Yeah.
almost like a Bible.
It's very
for me.
rare I get somebody to talk about that
we can
book.
talk on the concepts in the book. Now, while we're advertising Jim Collins' book, in the E5 movement, the Rule of Five, there's a lot of concepts that complement and actually are synergistic. Yeah. And another thing, well, I'll tell you what, Decathlon on Brigade Road in Bangalore, I've been there many times. And
you lived close by.
Yeah, I lived very close, and I got to know the folks there as well. I love the vibe there. And one other thing, you have already started on transformation. You know why? You just talked about enabling leadership as a positive thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Proof is here, right here in the pudding, right here in the nest.
Yeah.
We see the transformation of Naghma, right? It can happen. We can redefine language. The language we use as leaders is so important. And defining that language, what it means to you, right? What is a great, we talk good to great. What is great? Define it.
Yeah.
And in that book, the very first page one, is the very first line is good is the enemy of great. That's how the book starts.
Yeah.
And I've always approached everything I do in that regard. We cannot be satisfied with good. So, back to the idea of heart and head. Of course, you got to deliver the results. I mean, to be a CEO, you have to deliver the results. Otherwise, you're going to lose that seat. That is the reality, the harsh reality. But it's kind of like climbing a mountain. Back to our Japan example, climbing Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
There are several paths to get up Mount Fuji. And there are several official paths that are named. And then there are trails that are unnamed, the secret paths. Yeah. Ultimately, the goal is the same, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, that's leadership. Ultimately, the goal is the same. To build a high-performing organization. How are you going to get there?
Interesting. There's one thing that you've told in the book, that an impactful leader is a good storyteller.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what if somebody is not that great in terms of one of your E's, expressing?
Yeah. I would say a lot of leaders struggle with that. Yeah. So each of the E's is a set of muscles. I have never met a leader, including myself, who's great at all 5 E's. Yeah. So we start with that assumption. Okay. And then the humility is that it's time to build those muscles. If you want to pick up a skill, you want to work on something, what do? You ask for advice. You read a book. In this case, you get a coach. You can develop these skills. So I actually created a workshop around this because I thought, wow, I can help leaders develop these muscles. We always have some that are stronger than others. For me, I was always really into the express side. I've always believed in storytelling. Be engaged, be with people, talk about
we can see that.
I've just really enjoyed it. The envision part, so. I like to take a vision that was there for the organization and then really build some energy around it. So creating a vision from scratch, that was challenging for me as a doer, as a pace setter. Right?
True.
And then, excite, well, that's something that if you get the express part right, excite comes naturally. Quite like that. Fuel excitement, I like that. Enabling, really tough for me, as I said to you earlier. Execution, every leader, regardless of where you're strong or weak, you got to be good at it at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's no choice there.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to do it. Yeah. But these are all muscles that can be built. So if I think everyone should look at the 5 E's one by one and do an inventory. Look in the mirror. And really be honest with yourself. Say, okay, I'm not so good at this, but I'm pretty good at this. Great. Leverage your strength, but work on the ones that you're not so strong at. And surround yourself with people who are good at it.
Interesting.
It's not about turning your weaknesses into strengths. It's more about become at least competent or literate in that area. And then ask for help. So for example, someone who's not good at express. Okay. If you're in a company, let's say you're in an organization, you probably have a marketing team. And on your marketing team, you may have somebody responsible for communications. Yeah. That's the person you call. Yeah. Because they love it and they're great at it. A leader, and I've seen many CEOs hesitate to do this. Yeah. Think about calling your SWAT team. Yeah. Who's your SWAT team? Yeah. If you the strongest, the people who are the best at it, your best communicators will probably be your PR comms team. Call them for help. And that's what I did, by the way, when I came to India.
That's interesting. Now talking about, again, coming to India. Okay. One of the biggest concepts we Indians believe in, and this is me personally also, we love Jugads. We love Jugad, and personally, I am an amazing Jugadu. Like literally, like people tell me that, Naghma, you are the Jugadu CEO. If you ever write a book, your title is going to be the Jugadu CEO.
Is this a noun? The Jugadu?
Yeah, for us right now, yeah. So Jugad is your way of
I know Jugad very well, but you said
Jugadu is the person who does Jugad.
Jugadu.
Yeah.
Well, then give me a big badge. I want to be a Jugadu right here.
Exactly.
Proud Jugadu.
Exactly. So you're coming from Japan, where the concept is Kaizen, and that's what you talked about it in the book also. And then you're in India, where everything is a Jugad. We love Jugad, and we are proud of our Jugad. We build solutions like nobody can ever think of, and those are good solutions, frugal in nature, and it's there when you need it. How different are these concepts? And as a leader, being in both these places with people about both these localities, cultures, how is it for you?
Well, what a wonderful topic. And I think one day I need to write a book on this topic. And I might actually do it. So let's back up a second. I spent a long time in Japan, as you know. When you work in Japan, when you lead in Japan, you know, Kaizen gets into your DNA.
Japanese
gets
hates
into your blood.
Jugad.
Well, I have a different view. Hang on, let me give you my fresh perspective on this, okay? So first of all, Kaizen, as you know, Kaizen actually, when you study Kaizen, it's quite complicated. It's born out of Toyota Production System. It's about lean manufacturing, Six Sigma from GE. It is quite complex.
It's a huge chapter in our economic textbooks.
Oh, you can get belts, green belts, brown belts, black belts, and so on. Okay. But I want to simplify things because one thing leaders, the best leaders, what they're good at doing is taking something that's complicated and simplifying it so everybody gets it. Okay. So what really is Kaizen? It's about being better than yesterday. That's Kaizen.
Simple.
There's processes along the way. There's analysis. There's the removing the waste. They call it the muda. The inefficiencies. It's the 1 degree or 1% of improvement. It's painfully slow, but super effective. Now the beauty of Kaizen is that over a period of time, if you're improving steadily, guess what happens over 6 months, 1 year, and so on?
True.
Transformation. But it's slow. It requires consensus. Okay. Now let's go to India. I arrive in India. I'm bringing Kaizen with me to India. Then I hear about things like IST, India Stretch Time. Which is,
this is an interesting
definitely we needed to apply some Kaizen to that, right? Yeah. So when we did that, of course, but more importantly, I discovered this thing called Jugad. And I had a lot of conversations, really, sometimes heated debates with Indian leaders. And as recently as just a couple days ago in a bookstore in Gurgaon, I was signing books in a bookstore in Gurgaon. And this gentleman, Indian local gentleman, seemed to be a senior leader in a company, saw me signing and he came over, oh, is this your book? Yes. And then he started flipping through it. And then he got to a chapter where I mentioned Jugad. And he said, oh, Jugad. Jugad is stopping India from going to the next stage. Jugad is one of our biggest problems, he went on about. I said, interesting. Okay. So there's a view on Jugad. And I understand it's a controversial topic. And you mentioned that, you love it. And by the way, I do too. But let's strip it down. Let's peel the onion here a little bit. Okay. Kaizen, same thing. Kaizen is actually pretty complicated and painfully slow and all that. But pull out the good stuff from it, 100% focus on quality. Never compromise. That's a good thing. Forget all the other stuff. Okay? All right. Jugad, creativity. Ingenuity.
Finding your answer,
Speed.
finding your solution.
Let's figure it out. We got this. Now, the core spirit of Jugad and Kaizen are amazing. Now, just imagine. Stand alone, they're amazing. Just imagine.
Bringing it together.
If we can marry them. That would be a beautiful baby.
That would be a superpower.
Well, that's my mission now, and I write about it in the book. And thanks to my experience in India with Jugad, thanks to my experience in Japan with Kaizen, I've found a way to bring them together. And hence the E5 movement, the Rule of 5, and also the workshops that I do now called the Future Ready Leadership Gym. I help leaders build the muscles based on Jugad and Kaizen and the E5 to kind of really become game-changing leaders.
I can imagine a workshop. I'm just being funny here, but then I can imagine a workshop which titles Kaizen vs. Jugad. You're invited to the marriage reception celebration.
Yeah, welcome to this ceremony.
Oh, God.
It's going to be a meeting of cultures, yeah.
Oh,
and we do that. And I just gave a keynote speech yesterday at CII, the big event in Indoor, and that was one of the key topics. And it's always very well received, this concept. Now, the key is, how do you do it?
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to be able to lead in completely different environments of Japan and India, and to apply the concepts of Jugaad and Kaizen together. And the proof's in the pudding. We've had remarkable results. We turned around the operation in India from the worst performing to one of the best in the world. Japan then went on to be the #1 performing country in the world. So a large part of this was thanks to the blend, the marriage of Kaizen and Jugaad.
Yeah, I think this is just my observation that people like me who love doing Jugaads, I mean, we always have our way of thinking through stuff, but then it could mean that, okay, my way of organizing is a organized chaos. So it might be difficult for a second person to understand, but for me, in my mind, it's extremely organized. It's like if I can guide somebody who needed something from my cupboard, I can tell them, open the cupboard, it's a second rack, put your hand into the left, the end corner, you'll get that, and they'll get it. So my mind is organized in that kind of a way. I think in general, that's how a person who loves Jugaad works in a way. But one thing I've observed, people like that who are loving Jugaad means internally they are a little creative and open.
Yes.
They are open to learning new things. And if somebody, or individually, if I put in some time to inculcate few concepts of Kaizen into me, I can do that. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I feel the people are a little bit more open.
So it goes back to, it's directly connected to this, how we defined enabling leadership.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some people that will say that Jugaad is not a good thing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And a bit of bias as well, of course. There are some people say Kaizen is not very good. You know, it slows Japan
it's
down.
It's too slow.
So
it's
on.
Too strict. And
there are
steady.
a lot of naysayers about both Kaizen and Jugaad. My view is that as leaders, we need to park our bias. Yeah. Look for the good stuff in things, and then create your ism. And in the book, by the way, I also I put a call to action to leaders to come up with their own ism of leadership. I think everybody needs to.
Everybody needs it.
You need to have your own version of leader. It's not about pick up a book off the shelf and become that leader. No. This is, as I said, the Isaac Newton quote: "Stand on the shoulders of giants." You know, absorb different approaches to leadership from books, from other leaders, from watching, observing, and so on, and then create your own magic sauce.
The version that works for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's
may not
yours.
work for your succeeder, but it may not be somebody that your predecessor used, but then you learn, you make it, and you shine in that.
You take bits and pieces from the good. And by the way, you also learn from the not so good.
Yeah.
Equally. Yeah. We've all had really good managers or leaders that we looked up to. We probably all along the way had those managers or leaders
it's
that
like how Victor Frankenstein built Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's very similar. Your leadership is like Frankenstein. Yeah. Frankenstein it. Frankenstein.
The Frankenstein leadership model. Okay, I'm coming up with the book soon.
That might be the next book.
Interesting. And I copyright that.
I see.
So I patented it first.
It's on video, so it's locked in.
Interesting. So, okay, what is... I've been seeing a lot of your content around the Monday mantras. So what is your mantra?
Wow. Well, first of all, my personal guiding purpose in life now is very clear. My North Star, I will call it, is do well, do good.
Yeah.
Do well is really about, and I would say kind of my younger years, 20s, 30s especially, super competitive, wanted to win, wanted to be #1.
Yeah.
If you listened to me talk, I would have said I, me a lot. And love to win, love to get the trophy, be the top, whatever, sales guy, captain of the hockey team, whatever, score the goals. Yeah. Then over time, I started to realize that that wasn't enough. I mean, the doing well that's important, but I discovered the power of doing good, meaning doing good things for the world, doing good for other people. Yeah. And this became really apparent for me as a leader, that true leadership, and again, this is based on observing great leaders. Yeah. Over history, across genres, leaders that I've been around, the best leaders have a balance between focusing on doing well and doing good. Yeah. So they try to be the best they can be in their role as a leader and the roles they play in their life, but they also protect time and allocate time and commit time to doing something good. And you can define doing good however you want. Plenty of opportunities to volunteer and do things, whether it's for the environment or for the underprivileged or whatever it is. Any cause where you're helping the world be a better place is doing good. Now, combining those two is a real special way to kind of make an impact. It's one of the things that happens when you do that as a leader. Well, leaders are being observed. Leaders create a culture. And when the leader is aiming to do well and do good, the culture of the organization becomes that. And that's powerful stuff. So that's my mantra. But this Monday mantra thing is interesting. I went back to Japan and I thought, I just wanted, again, I was on a mission to kind of connect with people and share ideas. And I had started when I was in India, kind of loosely during COVID, just to connect with colleagues and share, just words of encouragement. Monday morning, here's my Monday mantra. Just a couple of words, a quote I liked or whatever it was, or a Paul-ism. We all have them, right? We all have them. And I went back to Japan and I thought, you know what? This year I made a decision. Okay, I'm going to record a Monday mantra every Monday, and I'm going to put it up on social media every Monday at noon. And I've done it without fail every Monday this year so far.
Oh, wow.
And the response has been remarkable. And it just goes to show you that sometimes the simple things are the most impactful. A simple quote. And what I've discovered, for example, I was at an event in Tokyo a couple of weeks ago, and it was hosted by a big media publication with a lot of like CXOs in the room. And no exaggeration, 5 different people came up to me at different stages and said, Paul, I loved this week's Monday mantra.
Oh, nice.
And one woman quoted it and said why it was important to her. And another person came up and said, oh, I loved your Monday mantra from last week. And he quoted it and said why it was important. I thought, wow, people are watching and absorbing and appreciating it. So I'm going to continue this. I really enjoy it. They're just simple phrases, words of encouragement that have helped me along the way. And hopefully they're reaching people when they need it.
True. I love it how in your book also you have the quotes mentioned in between chapters. And there's one which I love the most. The past is where you learn the lesson. The future is where you apply the lesson. I loved it. That was one of the best quotes I think I've heard in a very long while because it felt practical.
Well, it's the simple quotes or phrases like that. Some made by me, some borrowed from others and so on. But it's the simple ones that really tend to be profound. Let me give you one more. This was a revelation I had, especially again when I came to India. Culture was suffering. And I needed to do something about the culture. We had a culture of leaders saying, do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. In other words, they were not walking the talk, right? They weren't walking the talk. The true culture of great is do as I say, and I say as I do. So I walk the talk, right?
Exactly.
So do as I do. We move together. If I ask you to do something, I'm going to do it with you, right? And so I had this revelation that leadership is actually about behavior because that's what creates culture. So if leadership starts with behavior, then exceptional leadership requires exceptional behavior.
True.
So that's another quote. That's another Monday mantra. Leadership is about behavior. Exceptional leadership then is about exceptional behavior.
It's like one thing that I learned while I was again in Decathlon. I think I'm a huge evangelist of Decathlon for my experience in that company. It was one when it came into hiring. Just again, similarly getting back into good to great and promoting Jim Collins again as well. When it came into hiring and we started hiring our own team members, the only thing that always came back to us was when you're hiring somebody, look for the personality. Not for the skills. Because skills, give it a month, you can teach a person the skill. But the personality, it stays. That's similarly how when we are trying to work around with leadership or the other side, when we are sitting on the leadership side, I think a lot of places where when it comes to internal promotions and movements and everything, the company always stuck to, yes, performance is important. But if you are not a leader who can be followed, I don't think that person deserves to be there unless and until that person believes and learns certain criterias and human nature that can actually let others follow them. So I think there are a lot of few concepts like that.
Absolutely. Well, what you're talking about here is, and I won't get into too much theory because that's not what I'm about, but there's a will and skill matrix, right? And as a leader, you have to decide this, and it's not right or wrong. It's your ism. Which is more important, will or skill? Ideally, in a perfect world, you have somebody who has the will and the skill. The will to do the role, to perform the task, and so on, to be part of the mission, and the skill to do it, the capability. Some leaders will argue and say, I need the skill, I'll teach the will. Some will say, no, I need the will, I'll teach the skill, as you just said now, right? And this becomes part of your ism. I'm a big believer of give me people with will. And we will enable them with the skills.
The right skills. I mean, if you have the will, you can even move a mountain.
You
I mean,
sure can.
If you have the will.
And will is quite internal. It comes from inside. You have it or you don't. And so, you can't order someone to have will.
Great. Okay, so I'm moving to my last question. And for that, I'm literally going to keep the book aside. I got to know very recently that you are the coach of the Indian women's hockey team. That came in as a surprise for me. I had no idea. Wow, how did this happen and what is this all about?
Well, let me say I'm a big fan of the Indian national women's team. I don't officially coach the team and, in, let's say, national, international tournaments, but I came across them. There's an interesting story. So I was living in Bangalore and I was on social media, as you do, back in, I guess, 2017. And I was watching Canadian news. And as I was watching the news, there was a report from CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Company, that corporation, that said that the Indian national women's ice hockey team is in Vancouver right now, playing games, touring, and so on, and they're meeting the Prime Minister at that time, Justin Trudeau. I said, what? Hang on, Indian national women's ice hockey? Ice hockey in India?
In India?
And turns out, there they were on TV with Justin Trudeau. They were doing a tour across Canada. They were playing games, for many of them, the first time to play on a proper rink and so on. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. And then I found out that they were interviewing some of the people, the women from the team. I connected with a couple of them on Twitter and Instagram and so on. We started chatting. Then serendipity. I got a call from the Canadian High Commission in Mumbai.
Wow.
That said, hey, Paul, you're Canadian. You must play hockey. I said, yeah, and you're living in India. Well, I don't know how they found me. And anyway, and they said, we have the Indo-Canada friendly ice hockey tournament in Ladakh. Would you like to come? And it's like, first of all, I don't even what is Ladakh? I've never heard of it. I'm sitting in tropical Bangalore out on my balcony, enjoying the tropical weather. I'm looking at the iPad and I'm looking at the map.
Ladakh?
Ladakh, yeah, right? Where's Ladakh? Oh,
interesting.
Northern India. There's this place called Ladakh. And I started looking at images.
Yeah.
In the winter, the lakes freeze over and people are skating and they're playing ice hockey and they're figure skating and speed skating. I can't believe this is India. So I said to the Mumbai High Commission, I'm in. Fortunately, I brought my ice hockey equipment with me from Canada, from Japan. I put it in storage. I thought I might play in tournaments. There's tournaments in Asia and Hong Kong and Singapore. So I thought, wow, this is great. Serendipity. So again, connecting with these young women from the national team, this tournament, I invited them to play. We put together a team and we played together and competed in this tournament. So then I have kind of adopted the women from the national team, and many of them have become my little sisters, almost could be my daughters, many of them, but and supporting them. Many of the members of the women's team have started something. They're part of this amazing organization called the Ladakh Women's Ice Hockey Foundation. And their mission is really to help girls and young women get on skates and experience the joy of hockey. And so what we do is every year, I lead a group in from all over the world to lay into Ladakh in January when it's minus 10, minus 20. And we partner with the Ladakh Women's Ice Hockey Foundation and many of the national players by donating skates and other equipment and so on and doing coaching. We visit some schools in the area and we do compete in the tournament, and the national team players play on my team.
Oh, wow.
So we play together, both members of the men's and the women's team, Indian national team. So Yeah, it's been wonderful to discover this part of India I never knew existed.
Yeah, I mean,
really
Indian ice hockey team is something very new to us Indians also. I mean, we honestly never knew this existed. Recently, it was very popular across the media. I mean, that's when the news started coming out because these girls have been doing their best and we never knew about it. I mean, we live in India, we are Indians, and come on, we never knew about it. But thank you so much.
Well,
great.
all credit goes to the women. We're enablers.
Yeah.
We are enabling them. They're the ones doing the hard work. And I'm so proud of the women and how they're so resilient and they continue to push forward with very limited resources. But the good news is that the Indian government, both locally in Ladakh, of course, the UT Ladakh, but also nationally have started to recognize ice hockey as a sport. The what you're talking about now, the women won a tournament, or got a bronze medal, in a tournament recently, and it kind of got into media. And the stories are starting to spread, and I think it touches Indians everywhere. It's such a great underdog story.
It is because, like how you just talked about, there's a part of India like that, the very northern parts of India where it's white and ice everywhere. That's very unknown to 95% of Indians also. Okay, we know it in terms of geography because it has been part of our lessons, but how many of us have actually been there or seen any of this? Recently, I think 2 years ago is when I, for the first time in my life, went all over to Spiti at least. I haven't been to Leh or Ladakh yet. But seeing the places around,
it's gorgeous. Gorgeous place.
I didn't know how to explain. Like, I don't know, had it not been for the thanks to the social media and the kind of images that is available for anybody to see, I don't know if I could have been able to explain what I saw to anybody once I came back.
The color of the blue sky in Ladakh and the mountains and the contrast, you can't explain that, right? You have to see it. And I have to say to you, the winter is a different experience.
It is.
It's wonderful.
Amazing.
But I'm so glad that you asked about that because I think also the E5 movement and the Rule of Five is completely relevant to what the people are doing in Ladakh and the young women and men of the national team and how they're trying to, use sport to build community, build life skills, to enable. I'm a big fan. So look for it. In fact, we're getting ready to go again in January. We've got people coming from all over the world. And in fact, I'm happy to announce right here. Here. First time ever.
We are recording.
We're launching the first ever international pond hockey tournament. Now, a pond hockey tournament, traditionally in North America and Canada, would be played on ponds, frozen ponds. You make smaller rinks. We have less members on the team. Well, we're going to do it on a place called Gopak's Lake. Gopak's Lake is this majestic lake which has the Himalayas overlooking right or surrounded by the Himalayas. It is the most amazing view. And the person who's taking the lead is a wonderful guy. He's also a member of the Indian national men's ice hockey team named Chamba Tsetan. And Chamba is taking the lead. He's really pioneering this effort. And I'm partnering and supporting and enabling him to bring this to life.
And can people come watch?
They sure can. We're going to bring people from all over the world to play and also watch. So it's in mid-January. I'm sure we can include a link somewhere to help people connect and learn more.
Definitely, let's do that. Oh, that's amazing.
You're welcome to join.
I would love to.
You'll need to go to Decathlon and buy some layers.
I do
right
have
up to
enough
a big
layers.
down coat.
5 years of Decathlon, I knew enough clearance sales, so I'm even good for deep sea diving. Like I have
you've got everything. Okay,
you're
well equipped.
I am equipped.
No excuses then. We got to bring you up in January, and I'll introduce you to the amazing people up there.
That would be great. But good luck.
Thank you.
Something I think Indians love you a lot more now. Till now, the corporate people, you matter to the corporate people. Now you matter to every single Indian living here.
It is all relevant. It's all interconnected. It's not about business. It's about making a positive impact on the world. That's really what leadership's about.
True. But thank you so much, Paul, for being such an amazing guest. Looking forward to having you back in India soon. And we would love to have you, or maybe host you for a bigger conversation with a lot of people and take this conversation live.
Happy to do it. And congratulations to you on everything you're doing here in the Nest and how you are also enabling authors and thought leaders to share their message.
Thank you so much. So Till the time we have one more conversation. See you soon.
See you soon. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And see you guys back again for the next episode. The next show by Naghma.